All right, so should we give it rate like? What would we rate this?
What would you rate this? Personally, I would give it 4 Lonely Pascals at lunch out of 5. I guess I have to explain the story of Pascal. In the movie, he has the head wound, and if we watch the special features, and it turns out that when he went out to lunch, he would still have the head wound makeup because you're not going to take it off for lunch. It's an hour.
It would take out like 5 hours to take off all the makeup.
Yeah. So he would go to lunch, and it would turn out that he would eat lunch by himself because everyone would be grossed out by him. So that's the story behind a Lonely Pascal at lunch. So I give it 4 Lonely Pascals at lunchtime out of 5.
And I'm gonna go with 4.5 Dead Winston Churchill.
God damn it, that was what I was gonna say.
You want some help?
I give it 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10?
10 out of 10. 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. Would you say 10 out of 10 Micmac Burial Grounds?
Oh, yeah.
Out of 10?
Yeah.
There you go.
10 out of 10. What's it called, Mid-Man?
Micmac Burial Grounds.
Nice fictional.
Very good, yeah. Honestly, I recommend the book also.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing I would recommend for this, there's a person online named Dina Natelli. She does a really good synopsis of this movie, a really good review that goes super in depth. And she recommends some other things, but I recommend her review of Pet Sematary. It's called Film Den's Pet Sematary. It's in 2 parts. And she's a really entertaining person. I recommend looking her up. And she also recommends something else in her review, but I'll let you go to that. And I'll put a link down there in the comments, or in the descriptions.
And the doobly-doo.
Yeah, and the doobly-doos about that. But I digress. Does anyone else have anything to say about the movie?
I had something, but...
Obviously not important, you forgot. Okay.
Well, it was, but when we got on the rant of like the dead Pascals and
we noticed
Lonely
a
Winston
couple continuity errors, didn't
Oh,
we?
yeah.
Yes, we did. We did like what in the
very
very beginning.
A lot during the beginning. Like, how did the tire swing get hung up again?
Her hat, when she did the cartwheel.
When she did the cartwheel hat, and
lost
then she
her hat,
immediately
she had
stood
it
up
back
and ran, and it was on her head.
Yeah. And then later on in the film, when he goes back to the house after he buries his wife, he sets down a couple cards to play solitaire, but he only sets down like 3, but there's like 6 of them down.
Yeah.
In the next shot. Or where'd these other cards come from?
The missing flowers.
Oh yeah,
when he was sitting on the gravestone, it switched over.
Yeah, Gage's
back.
gravesite. There was like a bunch of stuff there.
He actually had to push a couple out of the way when he sat down.
Yeah, but then it's all gone in the next scene.
Yeah.
And it's literally after.
It was when he was talking to Pascal.
Yeah.
He immediately talked to Pascal, and then turned around, and then they were all gone.
Yeah. Good job, Pascal.
Yeah, but we can't really complain about continuity errors. We've had plenty.
Continuity errors.
I think Max and I are sitting in different spots.
Who cares?
We originally filmed the opening.
From the first one?
Yeah.
So the opening doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's different. That was apparent. That was a very apparent skip between times.
Oh shit, continuity error.
How is that a continuity? I feel like we do need to talk about the special features though.
The special features, if you want to grab the DVD real quick.
Yep, sure.
My version, I've got the double feature.
With Sematary 2.
Pet Sematary 2, which maybe one day we'll get to talk about. But the special features it comes with are, of course, the commentary, which we haven't gotten to talk about. We didn't listen to because, well, we just watched it. And I wanted to keep it fresh in our minds, you know?
Yeah, without commentary.
Exactly. But there's the Stephen King's Pet Sematary, Stephen King's Territory, which
basically him talking about the setting.
Exactly, his setting, about the book, not just about the movie, but about the book, which I enjoyed quite a bit. And then there was one about the characters, which
was actually really interesting because we learned a bit more about like the background of some of the characters. Like, for example, Fred was in opera and singing.
I didn't know Fred Gwynn was an opera singer, honestly.
So that's why
he was on Broadway.
He was on Broadway,
and like they explained in the thing saying like this character he said he was meant for him. It was like putting on a pair of overalls, which kind of fits because that's what he wears.
I know every scene he's in overalls, and then filming the horror, which I like because I love behind the scenes featurettes. That one went into more depth about directing and how Mary Lambert was not a horror director, and this was her first track around.
Madonna.
She did a couple Madonna videos and a single movie before this.
It was her first movie.
The one before that was her first movie, and then this one. Honestly, I think this is Mary Lambert's best film.
I don't know, man. Second one?
So, no. I'm not too excited about the second one, honestly. Let me tell you a story about... Well, no, I have to save stories for the second one for when...
Save it.
But, I also want to go...
The previews.
The previews. We got previews.
Like Star Trek?
Which I think is pretty funny because, what's her face? The lead woman, I forget her name. Denise and Pascal were actually in Star Trek. Denise was actually in Next Generation for about 37 episodes. You can look that up yourselves, you gay bitches.
And then Pascal was the aliens,
the Jew alien.
Big,
the Jew alien.
Yes, the Jewish.
He played that like
one.
2-3 times actually in different. Like he played it in Enterprise, in Generations, and I think Deep Space Nine, or it was Voyager. I can't remember. But he did it like 3 separate times. And you know what? I like Pascal.
What were you gonna say though?
But I wanted to actually talk about our first time ever seeing this movie. Max, do you remember at all your first time watching this movie?
I do remember a bit of it because I remember I watched it. Honestly, I remembered a bit. I was actually fairly young when I watched it, and because certain scenes I remember, like when you see like the kid with the scalpel walking, going like this with that grimacing face. I remember that, and I remember as a kid, I was actually kind of terrified by it.
I was about to say, when it got to the end, that's when you remembered everything, the scary parts, you know.
Yeah, like it clicked, and I was like, oh, I remember why. I remember
the scary parts.
Yeah, we remember the scary parts of life and of movies.
Yeah.
We would talk about Joey's first time ever seeing this, but this was his first time.
Well, no, let's do it. What was your first time like?
I like I said, I think I enjoyed it. I was
10 out of 10 Big Mac.
Yeah, and I was scared at the end, like Master was saying. Like that was the part where it actually got to me. Like, oh, this is actually,
everything was starting to settle in and get in there.
Mm-hmm. And I just remembered something we obviously didn't touch on that we should have actually was the biggest moment for the scare of this isn't, as you said before, it's an adult.
It is an adult.
I'm like, where's the jump scare?
Oh god, this motherfucker.
Yeah.
But it is an adult horror movie. One of the scariest things as an adult is losing your child. I don't have kids. None of us have kids. But honestly, your sock doesn't count.
No, that's Joey's sock.
Oh, you impregnated Joey's sock? But honestly, it's a scary concept, and Stephen King has said it many times that Pet Sematary is his scariest book, not because of like monsters or anything like that, but because it's about a deep, scary thing. Losing your child is not something a parent would ever want. And I could never imagine how terrifying it is, until I actually have my own kid. And
because once you have a kid, they pretty much become your entire life.
Yeah, and they're supposed to have the view, not the other way around.
Yeah. It's pretty scary, honestly. Pet Sematary is scary for that reason right there. And
that's why it's like, that's when it happens, you're like, oh, it's this kind of horror movie.
Yeah. I mean,
they don't make movies like this anymore.
They really don't. I mean, you have to look into like the indie scene and stuff, but they still rely on monsters and stuff like that.
And then the whole and as we mentioned before, pretty much this one doesn't start killing until like
the last 20 minutes
of the movie is when they get the first kill.
Yeah.
And
you get your first kill.
And then and current movies like, 10 minutes in, someone's dead.
Yeah, someone's dead.
Usually a black guy.
Or in most movies, actually, like, literally, you'll be in, like, the first 5 minutes and someone will die.
Yeah. This takes its time to build up a monster.
And it goes back to what I was saying. It just builds up everything. And then once you're towards the end of the movie, you're like, it's gotta happen now. When's it gonna happen? And then it does, and you're like, there it is.
Now that I think about it, Gage really isn't the monster here. It's Lewis who's the monster.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He's the one who becomes the killer. He brings these characters back. He brings Churchill back.
The thing is,
and he ends up killing him still.
Yeah, he ends up killing Churchill and his son.
And at the same time, like, it's kind of like the whole Frankenstein thing. He's creating the monster.
Yep.
Because if he didn't decide, with a little help of Judd, but...
Well, I hate to see that this monster wants a bride now. He wants one like
that. Is true. But what I mean... Yeah. Well, he kind of does get the bride.
No.
Or, well, I guess he would be the bride.
He would get his own bride.
Anyways, basically, after he knows that bringing back the cat, it's like, okay, so this cat is not normal.
This is not normal. This cat hates him because it brought him back.
So, and then he goes, well, my son's dead. I mean, understanding his grief, but he's like, now I'm going to create a new one.
Yeah.
And therefore creating the killer, creating everything. It's just...
The Lewis that created monsters. It's pretty terrifying, honestly. You know, my first time ever watching this, originally, this was back in like 2003, 4, 5. They had like this top 100 scariest moments that they played on like...
Oh, VHS, or VH1.
No, it was on VH1.
VH1.
It was like on AMC or something.
Okay.
And Pet Sematary is listed pretty, like in the 20s actually. And I remember seeing the clips with Zelda and then like the killing parts, and that really scared me a little bit. And I was like, I want to see this movie, and I can't remember who. I think I saw it on TV the next, like it was in a couple days later, and it was on TV then. And I was like, oh sweet, and I watched it there. It did not disappoint, I'll tell you. Pet Sematary did not disappoint me, and I'm disappointed I didn't buy it until much later, and I also hate myself for seeing Pet Sematary 2 a lot later also. Like, I'll explain my story of seeing Pet Sematary 2 when we get to that one.
Hopefully we don't ever.
I hope we do.
I do too.
Oh my god, if we pull that out for the next one, I'm going to be so
It'll
happy.
be the best.
Orange Jesus hates us.
Yeah. No, it's Transformers 4 again. But
did we want to pull it after we're done?
Yeah, as soon as we're done with this, as soon as we're done talking, we'll pull it out.
Okay.
That'll be how we end each video.
Alright, sounds good.
So does anyone else have anything to say?
I feel like we should touch up on where some of these actors are now, which is
They're
Nowhere.
not.
which is a shame, because that's what I want to say. Is like, it's a shame. A lot of these
It really
actors
is.
did great work, but now they're just...
A lot of them are on TV shows or on direct to
Or
DVD
dead.
stuff. Or like Fred Gwynn is passed away. I mean, he was an old man during this filming.
Yeah, I mean, it was 25 years ago.
Yeah. So
But it's a shame. Like,
it's a shame. Everyone does a great job, and I'm kind of sad that they didn't go on beyond TV actors. You know,
Yeah.
Nothing really big. Maybe they'll catch their break like Michael Keaton did in Birdman, but I doubt it.
But still, there's always hope for that kind of thing.
There is always. So, are we done?
I feel like we're done.
Yeah,
All right. So I will pull it this time because.
We both had our moment.
Yep, the Max pulled out of the fucking Transformers.
So someone will hold that for me.
Dig
I
deep.
can't wait till we get a what's it called? Until we get the hat, so I can jumble it up a bit better. All right. Oh, we got a game.
Oh, cool.
We got apples to apples. So
Alright.
next time we actually film, you'll get to watch us play a game of apples to apples, and then go into depth of why we like apples to apples or why we hate apples to apples.
Alright, sounds like a fun time. Take it easy, everybody.
Later on,
Alright.
this is Chris.
Joey?
And Max.
Well, yeah, have fun.
Don't wanna be buried in a pet cemetery. I don't want to live my life